And in their oral briefing to the UN Sanctions Committee on the 13th of June, they say they have gathered evidence of arms embargo and sanctions regime violations committed by the Rwandan government. They say these violations consist of the provision of material and financial support to armed groups operating in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, including the recently established M23. What do you say to that?
Let me clarify issues here. The so-called report is an addendum attached to the interim report by so-called experts who operate in Congo, right? Second, if you look at what is said in the addendum itself, I mean, it is self-indicting. It tells you how these people are not even experts. Maybe they're experts, but doing a different thing they don't understand entirely. Because the facts are there. It's in the report. We saw it, by the way, when it just came out. Even the names of people in Rwanda that were put there, just got to know about it when the report came.
Why would they want to invent this kind of information? What's your theory? Why do you think they're baseless,
let me tell you the
accusations?
facts. Let me tell you the facts, and then you can make your own conclusion. If you look at the report, the report is based on what has been said by the soldiers in Congo, the officers of the military in Congo, the intelligence people, the so-called defectors, people who have deserted one group or the other. This is all they are talking about. Now, I'm telling you that for a fact that people who are being accused have not been asked at all. Have not been talked to at all.
So do you want these experts to, your Foreign Minister Louise Mushikiwabo says they should come to Rwanda to carry out their investigations.
No, we actually...
Are you inviting them to go? Have you invited them to go into Rwanda?
But before I do that, I'm even questioning the expertise in terms of investigation. How do you just go and pick things somewhere on the street and then indict people and call them names and do what without even talking to them?
But the UN Secretary General himself, Ban Ki-moon, has spoken to you on the telephone, and also President Kabila of the DRC.
Yes.
He says he's very worried. He wants you to defuse the tensions.
True. That's
so
true.
Is he making this statement based on a useless report, which is what you're suggesting, that it's a useless report? He asked both of you to defuse the tensions, and he says he's got serious concerns.
Yes, if he wants us to talk, to deal with the problem, how does that validate the report?
But this report was supported. He says he's very concerned. He's got serious concerns about the external support that these M23
I think he's concerned with
receiving.
the violence going on. That is very obvious. Everybody is concerned about the violence going on.
Did he ask you, did he say to you, were you supporting them? Did he ask you that?
He raised it talking about the report.
Did he say directly to you, is Rwanda supporting the M23 rebels?
He was asking, yes, based on the report.
And what did you say to him?
I told him his people lied to him. It doesn't make sense.
His people lied to him?
Yes.
Why would this panel of experts, Nelson Alusala from Kenya, Ruben de Koning of the Netherlands, Maria Plama-Diallo from Moldova, Stephen Spittles of Belgium, Stephen Heege from America, and Emil Serrato of France, why would they make all this stuff up?
I told you it is better to give you the facts and then make your own conclusion. I have told you the facts. How do you have a situation like that, involving so many parties as alleged, and you find the report is just written by asking one side, the other side has never heard of anything?
Oh, well, I ask you now, the arms embargo and the sanctions regime violations by Rwanda include the following. You can tell me, have you done this or not? Direct assistance in the creation of MT3 through the transportation of weapons and soldiers through Rwandan territory, yes or no?
Yes,
no? No? You've not done that? Because that's what it's accusing you of.
That is what is written. But
so it's not true.
That's not true. It doesn't make
Recruitment
sense.
of Rwandan youth for the M23?
Why Rwandan youth?
Well, that's what they've written. Recruitment of Rwandan youth and demobilise ex-combatants as well as Congolese refugees for M23. Are you supplying them with force? But I'm just giving you the allegations in the report, Mr. President.
And I'm trying to explain you by giving you facts.
Provision of weapons and ammunitions? No?
Why would anybody give them ammunition? They are getting ammunition from where they are deserting. Let me tell you this fact. The main problem in this Congo situation is a mix of ignorance and arrogance. People not listening. It's just that. Because you cannot, the ignorance of people saying somebody is giving them arms. No, these fellows are deserting with arms.
So you're not giving. You've said no to all those, and you've said that the UN report is baseless. All right, you're being urged to meet President Kabila, possibly on the sidelines of the African Union summit taking place on Sunday. Would you agree to meet him so you can defuse the tensions?
Let me tell you this ignorance that is taking place. The Secretary General, as we are talking, he even didn't know that we talk with Kabila. I'm the one who told him that I've been talking to Kabila on telephone several times.
Will you meet him face to face? That's going to bring more results, isn't it? Your foreign minister has said in Addis Ababa this week now that there is an agreement that you want to stop.
We'll decide along the way whether we do it or not. Let me tell you what
so you haven't decided whether you'll meet? Okay.
Wait a minute. First of all, one thing I don't like, and I don't think should be entertained as the main thing. The fighting going on is not between Rwanda and DRC.
Okay.
It's between one group that is Congolese and another group that is Congolese. Now, the only thing is about accusations that they even cannot substantiate, provide evidence for. They just make reports.
Right. Could it be going on without your knowledge? Evidence. Could this support, briefly, be going on without your knowledge?
Well, there is no support that is going on, and there is no support that would go on.
So no renegade Rwandan military officials
No, we don't have those. We don't have rogues in our army.
Right. I want to ask you about the economy, because you have said, look at the successes we have there. You often have talked about almost creating Rwanda and making it the Singapore of Africa and so on. And yet the reality, you've got a long way to go before you could even be described as an Asian tiger or an African lion. 6% of homes in Rwanda have access to the electricity grid. You have a very small middle class, according to the African Development Bank, the third smallest in Africa. So how are you going to be able to do this when you've got 85% of people living on the land?
You've touched on the grim light on the dark side of things, but let me tell you how that is done. If the country is feeding itself, feeding its people, and even exporting food to the rest of the region, this is not a bad story. If you have children going to school for the first 9 years, now extended to 12 years, over 92%, this is not a bad story. If you have health insurance covering 94% of the population, this is not a bad story. If you have women empowered and girl children going to school and in, almost 900%, it's not a bad story. So, and if you look at, we are among the three competitive economies in Africa. It's not a bad story.
Okay. Rwanda, 50 years since it became independent from Belgium. What do you think your legacy is going to be? You're a little bit older than your country, but are you going to go down as a bold and visionary leader, or somebody who didn't quite live up to expectations?
I can't go down on anything. I always go up. So my country is going up.
But how are you going to be remembered? What's your legacy?
We are remembered by unifying our people and giving them the chance to prosper and reach the level the other parts of the world have taken for granted.
That's how you will be remembered, you think?
Yes.
President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, thank you very much for coming on Hard Talk.
Yeah.
Thank you.